I'm here to show you a little bit about GooseChase and kind of walk you through the setting up of a GooseChase game. So I will take you into Adventure Week here. You can see on the side that you will set your game info. You can give a unique image to your game. This is especially nice if you have different classes or want a way to distinguish your game from the others in your feed. You're also going to give your game a unique name. This is how your students are going to find your game. So you're going to want to make it searchable. And then give a game description. You can give a location. I don't often do. And then for extra security, especially if you want to restrict to only a certain group of your students, you can give it a game password, which students will then be prompted to enter when they find your game. So once you've set that all up, you'll save and continue. And I'm going to show you here. You can set up for teams or individual players. It depends on the activity that you're using this for. If you're using it like I was for Adventure Week, I definitely wanted the students to be able to work together and to bond and to show team spirit. So I did choose teams versus individual players, but you might choose individual players if you wanted it to be more focused on individual learning versus kind of team challenges. And then once you set up teams, um, or you choose the option to have students in teams, you can do one of two things. You can pre-create teams, which then you just do create new, and you'd give the team a name. You could give them an optional access code and click create, and you can create as many teams as you'd like. And then when you introduce the activity to your students, you would then just need to make sure to inform them who they will be working with and what team they'll be on, and give them the team name to search and enroll themselves in once they're in the game. I chose to, for this game, allow students to create their own teams, which what happens if they're creating their own teams is they'll kind of decide who they would like to work with. I tell them, okay, 3 to 4 people per group, and make sure everybody's set and ready to go. And then one person from the team kind of needs to take the initiative to find the game and log in first, and they'll be taken to this team lobby. And you can see here, when they're in the team lobby, they'll either join an existing team or create their own. Some chaos can happen if you just tell the kids, okay, create your own teams, and then everybody tries to create a team, because then obviously teams aren't formed and they're not sure who to join or what. So I always tell the kids, appoint one person in your group to go to the team lobby first, create the team, name the team, and then the other team members will be able to then log into the game and go to the team lobby and find the team that their teammate just created and join that existing team. That helps to streamline things a little bit. And you can see here that once the team is created, that first person to create the team will get an access code from the program, which then they can give to their group members to be able to access and join their team. All right, moving along. Over here in the start and stop, you can choose the duration of your game. I'll just reset this to draft. You can do an automatic start if you want to pre-enter a date and time, or you can do a manual start if you want to start it right live in class. And it's pretty user-friendly. Just make sure that the game is started before you have the students try to find it, otherwise it will not be visible. All right. Over here in missions, this is where you'll choose the missions or adventures or challenges or whatever you want to call them for students to complete. So you can see here that I have 97 different missions. There were a lot of different options for this particular activity, ranging in point value from 400 to 2,000 points. And I tried to balance out the number of missions, but you kind of have to think about your point values and what kind of missions you want to have for your unique activity. There are some mission banks. There's a GooseChase bank, which has some pre-created missions. So if those fit with what you're going for, you can just go ahead and add that to your mission list for the game. But I found that not all of those kind of gelled with what I was going for this, and not all of them would have been school appropriate. So because this was Adventure Week and the point was for students to kind of get out of their comfort zones in one of 4 ways: emotional, social, mental, or physical. I have different categories, so I kind of labeled them in parentheses at the beginning. You'll give each mission a title, and you'll give each mission a nice description. You can even edit them after the fact, attach images, attach links. There are advanced settings so that you can choose to show it in the feed or not. You can choose if a particular mission fits with a certain type of proof that you want the participants to be able to submit as completion. You can do photos and videos, which is the default. You can restrict to photos only or videos only if you like. So that's kind of a nice option. Let me go back in here. And you can also over here choose what kind of a mission it is. So this one, the actually mission was a photo/video mission, but you can also have a text mission with text-based response necessary for the teams to show completion. All right, so you can see I have a variety here, and it categorizes as you create them by point value. So the lowest points will show up first in your feed, and then as I scroll down here, you can see some higher point values. It's also nice, like for this one, if a student had their own idea, I wanted them to be able to pitch that to me, and that's where they would have submitted the proof for their original risk if they got approval for it. So that this is an example of what it looks like if you wanted to attach a link. It's pretty user friendly, and the students, being of the digital age, usually have no problems navigating this. Let me show you real quick. It's kind of nice. Students will need their phones to be able to use this because it is an app. There is not an online version. Some of these team names are very interesting here, but teams will be able to kind of see where they're at in comparison to the other teams. And they see a live leaderboard, so that kind of adds to the competition and helps to kind of help the team come together and push for first place. As a teacher, you can see your activity feed here, and you can also come here to the submissions hub, and you can sort by team, or you can sort by missions. I kind of like to sort by mission, so if I wanted to take a look at all of the actually submissions, I can look at them all in one place, and I could even enlarge, and depending on what I'm seeing here, if they went above and beyond, I can add bonus here by plus 300 or whatever you wanted to do, and you can even enter a reason for the bonus, or if it didn't show convincing proof, you could do a takeaway of points here and give a quick reason for that. You can even delete submissions if they're not appropriate or they are not convincing enough for you. You do have the option of downloading submissions. Some teachers I've heard actually create sort of a video montage of a game to kind of show in class, and the students find that fun. I haven't done that personally, just because I'm not entirely sure how that works, but that is an option. And then one more thing that I'll show you here is as a teacher, it's kind of nice if you're working with a team of teachers, not to have to recreate the wheel. So if you want to create together and then share to individual teachers' accounts, you can come down here to the lower left-hand corner, and you can change your game sharing privacy so that anyone with the link can access it and create the game with the same settings and the same mission list. You just need to enter the email address, and then that game is automatically shared. So that's a nice option, I think. I'll also show you real quick at goosechase.com /edu, there is a game library which has some games that have been shared for teachers to make their own copies of and modify, which is kind of cool. There's a growing library of games. When I first became a part of GooseChase, this did not exist, so I'm happy to see that it's here, and I hope to add one of my own games in the future. But let's say that you are wanting a literacy chase for your classroom. You could come here and you can view and make sure that it is what you're looking for. And if you're liking that, or it would be quick to modify, you can add that to your account and make it your own. So I hope this has been helpful. This year, my PLC and I, we've used GooseChase primarily for cultivating a classroom climate and team building. We used it in the beginning of the year for kind of getting to know you type challenges, and we used it for Adventure Week as we launched into slam poetry and some other quote unquote risk taking activities that we were going for in that unit. But really, I feel like the sky's the limit. And this next year, I hope to explore ways to use it in a more academic way. I posted on Instagram the other day, please share your ideas with me. And I have gotten some good suggestions. This is probably my favorite. I'm thinking about how I can use it in the fall with Macbeth to give them reading challenges and kind of rewriting challenges, and even submissions of photos of them kind of recreating a tableau of the scene. And yeah, I thought that was a really good idea. I'm also pondering how I can use this with perhaps some sort of research or source finding challenge. I'd love to find a way to use it with close reading. So if you have suggestions or ideas for how you might use GooseChase in your classroom, I would love to hear them. Go ahead and leave me a comment below. If we're not friends on Instagram, I would love for you to give a follow. I'd be happy to give a follow back, and hopefully we can learn from each other. Thank you very much for watching.